Okay, so we're going to talk about the change process in those 5
'cause
stages.
Because I was saying that Trump, to create this kind of change, you needed someone that was so oblivious to what was his own actions and how
And
they...
being politician.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you, and I'm saying that what he's doing is creating chaos in a way that's quickly tearing things apart. And so he's addressing that first stage that takes 75% of the change
and
process.
what's the first stage?
The first stage is unfreezing the behavior and the way you're doing things. So the way we used to do things, we had respect for our elders, we had respect for politicians, we didn't lie, we didn't, whatever. We worked in a certain way, we followed the rules.
Generally speaking.
Yeah, of course,
Broad,
generally. There's
broad,
always
Broad
10%.
Yeah.
At least. Okay, yeah. So, and now here we are in total chaos. And this is a guy who's really good at stirring up chaos. At the end of every day, he stirs it up, and he knows how to match stirring up chaos with, I'm going to grab something and tear it apart. So he has the way of getting the sacred space and tearing it apart that the society is feeling. He's got a knack for being able to
So
find...
what sacred space are you speaking of?
Sacred space. Give me an example of something that Trump has recently gone after.
The Jews that vote Democrat.
Oh, that's a hard example.
He's being disloyal.
Yeah, that's political, and I can't deal with that.
Okay.
I don't want to deal with that.
Sacred space.
How about women and girls? Okay, let's talk about all the dissing he's done against. Let's do anything that's not a white man. So it's going to be women.
Yeah.
It's going to be people of color.
Yeah.
It's going to be men who don't play the white man game. It's going to be people who have different
and
sexual
he gets very personal
preferences.
with stuff.
Yeah. So he'll take off on something. It's irrelevant what he's saying, because what he's really doing is he's breaking the edges of the way we've done things in the past. So if it was a cookie, he's biting around the edges of this big cookie. That is the way we used to do things. And eventually the whole cookie breaks. And we're just at the stage where it's about ready to break, but it hasn't broken yet. So
he's not part of polite society.
That's a statement I can't respond to. He doesn't play the game. How about that? He does not play the game.
Yeah.
He does not play by the rules.
Who's the that woman that had the rules of etiquette?
Not Ann Landers.
No.
No. Yeah, but he does not. He doesn't know them. He doesn't play by the rules at all. And that's upsetting and breaking everything down. That's the first stage. That takes 75%. We're trying to make change here. We need it desperately in culture because we've outlived a lot of the ways we do things. We got ourselves in a corner. We made bureaucracies that exist for the pure purpose of continuing to exist exactly the way they are. So we ruled ourselves into corners. So we need to get out of it. So he's there to create a big bunch of chaos and move us faster through that unfreezing stage. And then the next 3 stages are just finding something new, trying new things, and then picking the new thing that works the best. So that's very entrepreneurial in a real human way. Everybody gets out there and tries different things. We're coming up with new kinds of cars, new kinds of electricity, new ways of having families, new families. Who's in your family? Watch TV, anybody and everybody. All of these things. And then in the end, we pick the one that works best for our cultural milieu, for our family, for ourselves. And then we reform that into the way of doing things. Okay? The criticism is you don't want to refreeze this so that you now have to go through the next cycle, and somebody like Trump has to come along and tear that cycle apart. So what you want to do is, when you get to this stage where you're all coming up with new things, you want to break down the bureaucratic, the rules, all that stuff, and make it an open process where you can change as you go along. And that's a whole new process of change. And it's
Something more flexible and more intuitive. And,
very collaborative. Yeah.
yeah. Is there anywhere in the world they're doing that now, do you think?
I think there's bits and pieces of it in different places.
Like
And
Norway,
different issues.
Sweden,
Where
Australia,
is
New
it?
Zealand.
Yes. Is it India where they've suddenly said all women, girls, from the beginning all the way through PhD programs can now be free in their education?
Right.
So there's a perfect example of making a change. And that change is going to backfire all over the place for the traditional values, but it's going to also take with us, move them into, all of a sudden you have a
Okay, I
whole,
just thought of something. So
what?
you're talking about the masculine and feminine energies. So is India more feminine energy and the US more masculine energy?
It feels that way to me. It feels, I don't know India, but when you look at the faces of the people, they seem to be more balanced. Whereas in the United States, we are more in the left side, we are more in the logical, we are more in the
Yet in India,
competitive.
they have huge poverty and they have, caste systems still
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all that stuff going on. But I'm wondering, the women are usually pretty strong women over there. Like the women are often revered, even in the poor, whether they're poor or rich, what have you. The families revere the women in some ways.
That's kind
In
of
some ways,
what I'm talking about in terms of being more balanced
yeah,
in their masculine and their feminine energies.
yeah.
The whole world is broken in terms of too much male energy that's gone sour
Yeah.
and too little female energy that is in its power.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think I'll do a t-shirt. I like that. Anyway, and so even a culture like India that has a lot of masculine feminine balance still has a masculine business
Oh,
concept.
yeah.
So
And they're not always nice to their women either. So where in the world?
well, I guess we're going to just
Where
have
in
to
the world?
make it happen. We're starting the balance.
Where's it going to unfold the easiest, right?
Yeah.
And is the United States, or North America, going to be leading the way again as the kids, the young ones?
I see newbies, new kids on the block who are much more feminine and much more balanced, much more connected to a spiritual essence of themselves, much more loving and kind and not afraid to express that, and also more able to interact with people of every species, more or less. They're color blind, they're sex blind in the sense of it doesn't really matter, just you're who you are. I see that coming up in the young kids. And I can feel it. You can see it in their faces, you can listen to what they're doing, and I'm segueing here a little bit, but because they're more balanced and they're more into their right brain, they're able to be conceptual and solve problems much better. You see these young kids starting businesses and going out there and fixing this and building these and giving people knitting for people and doing all these different things to make the world better. That's because they have a balance left and right brain. And it works really well for their problem solving, because when you're in your right brain, you can see the whole picture.
Right.
You see the whole thing. And that's what they can see. And we're left, sending Facebook memes about them because they're making such a big difference.
Right.
I think our time is up.
Yeah. So this is Linda, Go for the Joy, and Gail, the butterfly woman. Or,
Butterfly Promise? Yeah.
yeah. You can find her on Facebook.
At
Under
Decoding the Butterfly Promise. No,
Decoding
you know
the
what?
Butterfly Promise.
At Godmother Chronicles.
Godmother Chronicles.
Com.
Com?
Godmotherchronicles.com.
There you go. Okay, check her out. Okay, see ya.
Thanks, Linda.
Bye.